Umlen and a block Gemara. We are up to today's daf is daf Nun Zayin, and we are up to the Mishnah. And we actually have very interesting Gemara later on, a little bit of Agadata for a change, well deserved Agadata. So the Mishnah says, Elu Devarim. We're talking about till now. We're talking about chazakas. If you claim that you acquired the land and you lost the star, we allow for 3 years that the owner could have protested. But after 3 years, if the owner didn't protest, that means that's a proof to substantiate or corroborate your claim. Where it's a cheskes of, let's say, tashmish, when I use your object and I said that I bought the rights, or I said I bought the rights, there you don't have to, big machlekes, whether you have to wait 3 years. For example, I put a beam on the wall, on your wall. Do I have to then wait 3 years before I can say that, yes, you've given me permission, I bought it? So a big machlekes is a shame, a twofold machlekes. One machlekes is whether you need 3 years or whether it's pretty much instantaneous, because nobody allows you to use their walls without, granting you permission or selling it to you. Is it cheskes la'alta? Some Rishonim say it's 30 days, and some Rishonim say it's the same 3 years. It makes no difference. The other argument is whether you need a taina. According to some Rishonim, when you're using someone that's called cheskes tashmish, when you're using somebody else's object, wall, let's say, you don't have to even claim that I bought it from you. I can just say you were meichel me. I would just say you were meichel me. And by karka, we don't say that, because even if you were meichel me, doesn't make the property mine, the land mine. You were meichel me the use of the land. If I want to own the land, there has to be a transaction. So therefore, it doesn't help me the fact 3 years I was there and I never bought it, but you were meichel me. So what is meichel me? It doesn't. It's not a kinyan. So that's why we say that it doesn't work. But when it comes to metalton, for example, if you're acquiring metalton and metalton sitting in my possession now, and you're meichel me, that might be good enough. Or the use of a wall. If you're meichel me, since you could be meichel me, it's like a grant, like a gift, and therefore that's it. I don't need anything more than that. So the machlek is how to understand 3 years, 30 days straight away, with a taina or without a taina. So says the Mishnah, Elu dvarim, zayin omer aleph. Elu dvarim, the following things. So yes, they have a chazaka. The Elu dvarim, the following things, she'ein lehen chazaka, don't have a chazaka. Whether this is referring to what we learned till now chazaka, whether referring to what we're going to learn later on, the machlek is a shame as well. But anyway, bottom line, the Mishnah gives examples. If I placed an animal in the courtyard, and right now we're understanding it means courtyard, chutzah, not just behind the houses, but the chutzah. Chutzah is something where people use all the time to get in and out the house. And remember, in those days, the chutzah was used almost like an extension of the house. The house was very small. So if he placed there a tanur, a rechaim, the kirayim, these are all portable items. Here today, if I don't want it, I can just ask you, hey, pick it up and move it away. So it's not a big deal. Or migadol tanagayim, or you're raising there some hens. The noise as well about chutzah, you're placing your fertilizer in the courtyard. None of them are chazaka. I allowed you to do it. Doesn't mean anything. I think to myself, when I'll need the space, I'll tell you to move it. Right now, I don't need it, so why should I be a shlechter? I can allow you to use it. So there's no chazaka here. If that person goes ahead and actually does some construction, he builds a partition there for his behemoth, or gavoya asara tvachim, with the height of 10 tvachim. V'chein letanu, an oven, v'chein lekrayim, a stove, v'chein lerechaim. He makes a mechitza, and behind the mechitza he places his things. That seems to show a bit more ownership, and therefore it's if you allow me to have it there either 3 years or 30 days or straight away, depending which you're showing him, it's already a chazak. Hechnis time going to Rabais. He took his chickens and hens and he placed them in your house. Well, even though these are all portable items, they can be moved in a minute. And what is, I made a makeshift fence. You can move that as well. But also, or he dug a hole in the ground 3 tvachim and he placed there his fertilizer so that the wind shouldn't blow it away. It should stay there. Or you put on the hill so it stands out. Then and easy to remove. The second half of the Mishnah is a chazaka. And the Gemara is going to understand what's the difference in the ratio of the sefer. What is exactly the difference? Says the Gemara, I don't understand. We're talking about a friend guy, a stranger walks in and he's using your chutzah. So why, if he does not put a mechitza, but he puts all those things there, we're going to say no chazaka. The moment that what do you call it? He puts mechitza there is chazaka. If it's because the owner is makbid, won't the owner also be upset if some strange guy comes in and starts depositing all of his clutter and garbage in your chutzah? Who does that? So why should it be a difference? When I ask the question, Ma'ishna Reisha, Ma'ishna Seifa, I don't understand why in the Reisha we say there's no chazak here. The Balabas allows you to do it, but in the Seifa, oh, there he gets upset. If he didn't get upset, must be that you're telling the truth that he was either Michael Kontiloza Shainim or he sold you the right. Amarullah. First, Ullah lays down a rule. There are degrees of chazak. Any chazak, remember, if you're buying land, or let's say before we talked about a ger, a convert, his land is ownerless. If you go ahead and you make a chazak on the land, then you acquire it. So any chazak which is strong enough to acquire, to make an acquisition, then over here the balabas should have been moich. It's a strong chazaka, and it sounds like that a person can then later claim it's mine. Look, I made this chazaka, didn't say anything. But any chazaka which would not be effective when it comes to buying from another person, or when it comes to acquiring from a hefker, it's not a strong enough kinyan. Then the balabas wasn't makbid. If you were there, he thinks when I'll need it, I'll take it back. That's the difference. Remember explains. Anything which would be effective when it comes to hefker, that this kind of chazak is good enough, is benichse chavere kana, so to over here, it will be a chazak. And according to those Rishonim, it has to be a tiny, I bought it from you, or you, or whatever, you gave me a gift, and so on. But anything which would not work by a ger is such a weak kinyan, chazaka, then it wouldn't work here. Then the balbas is not makbid because he can just pick that, tell you to take it away whenever he wants. So therefore, without building a mechitza is, remember before, by a kahefke, the moment you build something, it's a chazaka, rafak bapurta, and so on and so forth. Over here also, building mechitza, the balbosh should have protested. Just bringing the animals in would not have been a chazaka by a ger, so it's not a chazaka here. It's not a chazaka as well. So the obvious question the Gemara could have asked is, so why is if you brought chickens into the guy's house, we say, oh, that's a chazaka, because people don't accept it. No such kinyan by a ger. If you bring your chickens into the field or into the house of a ger, it's hefker, there's no such kinyan. He didn't make any improvement in the land. So therefore, how can he make such a rule? How do he make such a rule that anything which is effective, which is ineffective by a ger doesn't work here? But it says right in the Mishnah, he brought the targelin, but he brought it in the house. Oh, that's already the balbos should have complained. So is a raya that the rule doesn't rule. However, others say it's not a problem because they say also by ger, bringing in the hens is considered a chazaka because it keeps everybody else out. It's like no. The whole idea of null is you're not letting people coming in. So therefore, it's considered over here also. Nobody wants to walk into a house and take over a house full of chickens. So therefore, it is a form of a kinyan. The others say it's not a kinyan because all you're doing is mavriya chari. You're keeping people out. That's not good enough when it comes to a chazaka. You have to do something with the ground. Others say no, mavriya chari is only if you're keeping certain elements out, keeping the ari out, an imminent danger. This is like a door with a lock because nobody comes in there except yourself, because you're the one who put the chickens in. So that's Machleka continues. But he has another question. This is the rule. If you, let's say, just plow the land, but you don't plant it. The benichse hager kana, by a nechosim of a ger, you are kind because you work, you dug a hole, and this is more than just purta, you plowed the land. Or benichse kana. If you went into someone's field and you plowed the land, it would not be a chazak. We learned before already. Why not? Because the Balbas says you didn't plant anything. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm actually very happy that I don't have to then plow. You spared me the work of plowing the land, and I can go plant whenever I'm ready to plant. So the reason why I wasn't makbid is because you're benefiting me. What do I care? The Achilles paid or Achilles paid is the benichse. A general question. You made this rule. Well, Achilles paid is the benichse kavedu kon. If I go into your property and I take the yield 3 years in a row, that's a chazaka. You're in makbid, and therefore I say I bought it from you. But benichse agay lekana. I just eat the payers. I didn't make any improvements in the land at all. I got the payers from hefker, but I didn't make a kinyan. So the rule is not a rule. Ella amrav nach amrav vul. Hakamaiskin over to amrav here. We're talking hacha bechatzed hashutrin askinen. We're talking about that the two people who share the yard, they're both partners in the yard, and what happened was that one of the shutrin he decided to use all the yard and put his animals, or his clutter, whatever it is, in the yard. The other shuttiv was a mak, but the other shuttiv thinks I don't need it right now. He's my partner. Why should I protest? But the moment I need it, I'll ask him to leave. So it's not it's the fact that you're behemoth and all that is sitting, or you're sevil and all that sitting in the chutzim doesn't prove anything. The reason why I wasn't meichel is because you're my partner, and I know that I can ask you to move it away straight away. And that's why. But When it comes to building a wall, that is already makpid. What are you building on my side of the, or whatever? Why we didn't divide the property? Why are you building here? So then he should have said something, but didn't. Must have been that he either gifted it to his partner or the guy bought it, or the other shanim was Michael. Says the Gemara, and the Bahamad kedai. Stop placing things there like kapti. Aber a permanent fixture kapti. Freddy Gemara, you're telling me Bahamad kedai like kapti. You're telling me the virtues when it comes to shutrim. I don't mind if you place over things. Let me ask you a question. But Tanan, didn't we learn in the mission there hashutfin shenodru hano zemizeh? There were two partners, and they said, "I don't want you to have any hana for me one at all." Asudin lechon is lechotzer. You're not allowed to walk into the chutzah. Because we're talking about the chutzah was not divisible. We had a machlezing mother there where we're talking about a chutzah that can be divisible. And then Rabbi Lezman Yaakov brings in the whole idea of yesh breira. Do we say that if it could be divisible, when I'm walking the chutzah, I'm not walking in your section. Whatever I'm walking is mine. So according to we're talking about a chutzah she'ein boidi chalukah. In other words, the chutzah is too small to divide. So every step I'm stepping on it belongs to you, just like it belongs to me. Or we're talking about we don't believe in breira, ein breira. Either way, so shutfin shenodru hanoz them is shutfin. Banned each other from walking in the party. Asudin lechatzah. Nobody can walk into the chatzah because when you're walking in the chatzah, you're walking into your pshutos section as well, and you're over layachal devari. Big layachal devari. Big machik is showing you if you remember in Iran who's over layachal devari. The person who's on the other end of the neder or the person who actually made the neder. Who's over layachal devari? When you make a neder that I shouldn't do something, I shouldn't walk in your field, and I do. Who's over? But anyway, that's on the gate here. Next time we learn the Dorim, we'll go through the book again. Ella Amar Rab Nachman Avu. So therefore, it can be talking about shutfim here because shutfim was that proof that shutfim are generally makpid. Because if shutfim are not makpid like you claim, that means I'm not makpid. That means that as if I made the land hefker. If I'm not makpid, it means I don't care. So I can make it hefker. So why are you usher to walk on it? The land is not hefker. What's the svari? He says why? I don't mind if if you put your chickens there. I said I don't mind. Why don't I mind? Because it's like regarding these inyanim, it's like the land doesn't belong to anybody. Do whatever you want. If that's not Rashbam. Too much partner. Only as far as the partner, it's like hefker. Only for so therefore other Shem don't use this word like hefker. In fact, they have a little problem with the Rashbam. But that's how the Rashbam learns. It's like hefker. So if it's like hefker. So how come if you make a neder I should walk in your property? I'm not walking your property. I'm walking on hefker. Is that ayah? That people always makbid. That you don't make it hefker even for you should. We're talking, we're talking about in the place where taka people are not makbid. We're talking about berachava. If you remember Rashi in the beginning of the Masechta told us the chutzah and the chutzah is the front of the property and the chutzah is the backyard. The backyard people didn't really use at all, very seldom. So we don't really care if you put clutter there. But in the front yard, people, used to walk in and out all the time, place their chamayda. You need 4 hours by the doors because people used to just, unload their animals there. They are then very makbid. So there's feet behind. Nothing to do with the shutrim. Bahamad could just to place things there like kapti. I don't care if there's a little clutter there. If I ever need it, I'll tell you to move it. But even there, if you're going to build a permanent fixture, I'm makbid. Rav Papa says, no, let's go back to your first answer. We're talking about shutfin. But the thing like this, Ika de kapti, the Ika de loy kapti. Now, some people, even partners, some partners say, look, we're only partners in this thing here, but I don't want to take over the whole chutzah, even though it's only temporary, because then if I punk one it in your middle and I feel uncomfortable asking you to move it, I can see you're still busy. Why should I put myself in that situation? So some people are makbid, even though they're partners. I think look at there's others who don't really care. They're very easy about it. So what do we do? So when it comes, you want to know why the dharma is different? I'll tell you. When it comes to a mechitza or makbid, but talking about just putting clutter. But you ask the question, but by the dharma we see there that it's not just hefker or makbid. If I make a neder, you can't walk there, which proves whether Rashbam learned that I don't just make the land hefker, go do whatever you want to. So I'll explain to you. When it comes to mammon, when it comes to money matters, we have a rule, something lukula, we'll assume that you're not makbid, unless otherwise you should have been makbid. We'll assume that you're from those people who are not makbid, and therefore there's no chazakim. But you know why the Bava Basra, you know why the Pata didn't scream or protest? Because he's from those people who don't really care. So why should he protest? But the Durham is an Issa. By Yisuda, we don't know. Maybe you are from those people that aren't makbid, so therefore you shouldn't walk on the land because we do. There's an Issa involved. Now, Yisuda Luchumra, famous question that Tzvizah Chash's brother asks in Kuntas has fakes in the back of Chesed Mishra base. There's a brother back and forth. Very interesting rules in Didi Mamas. One of the questions is, how can the Gemara always says Safik Mayin Lakula when every Safik Mammon is a Safik Issa? Because if it doesn't belong to you, you're able to six it. So why isn't that a Safik Issa? And why is it more like here, for example, say, oh, Safik Mayin, we don't know if you're people Makma would make. Just, I don't think he answers this, but anyone answer that Safik Mammon Lakula is, even though there's an Issa involved, but there's an Issa that can go away. If he's Meichel, if the Nigzel says, you know what, keep the money, the Issa is gone. But by a Safik Yisuda, nobody has the right to be Meichel. Actually, by Neder, you could be Oikil Mafreya if you never heard it. Interesting. So why should that be different? So the other answer, other give maybe it's a better answer, because by Mammon there's a council, Bezin can come in, Hefke Bezin Hefke, and in some cases say, well, we decided so and so and so, and if Hefke Bezin Hefke, it's no longer Gzeva. And by the Durham, that's not Shaykh. Unless the Bava Basra himself asks for Mechila. So maybe that's a difference. Anyway, I'm going to go further. Ravina says, tell you better. I also believe it should. But you asked a question from the Dorim. Like Kapti, generally people are not makbid. How come the Dorim? The story of the Dorim, that follows Rabbi Lezer, who is very machbid by the Dorim. That Mishnah that says, that, you know, the Tanakama says that Shutrin Shas ask each other. You cannot walk on the Chatzah. It follows Rabbi Lezer. What's Rabbi Lezer? The Tanakama, I feel a vitur also. What's a vitur? Vitur is not, I don't give you a gift. You walk into my store and you buy a kilo of apples. And I'm a very generous person. Plus, I'm smart and I want my customers to come back. I throw always an extra apple in. A bit more. That's called vitur. But the vitur is not stam level. You bought something from me, so I'm giving you a little extra. So Rabbi Lezer, the Chachamim say, since you give everybody else that extra, it's almost as if it's included in the price. So therefore, even though you asked me having enough from you, let's say you're the storekeeper, I'm not having enough from you, I'm not having enough from you, I bought it. Bought it is not enough. I am getting a little bit extra, but since you give it to everybody, it's not you doing anything for me. It's like part of the deal. But Rabbi Yaakov says, no, even vitur is forbidden. Even though you're not makbid, because you give everybody an extra apple, and so nobody's makbid, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to. So Rabbi Lezer want to hold that even though people are not makbid on the fear of the chutzah, partners, but you cannot walk in there. Once you make an edit, even vitur is usher. Even though nobody's makbid, it doesn't matter. So that Mishnah in the Dorim is Rabbi Lezer, not us. And according to our Mishnah here, we follow the other opinion that say that people are not makbid and the partners can come in. Okay, so I'm right there. Now we're bringing Rabbano about these inyanim. We're going to bring a whole bunch of things here, string thing about Rabbano, and tomorrow we'll continue with Rabbano. Rabbano, the Rambam says in the next daf, he was a great person. Adam Gadol Hoyu. Not exactly who he was, but he was an Adam Gadol. We'll see later. Rashi, the Rambam goes further. Adam Gadol v'chashuv Hoyu. That's Tam Gadol, but chashuv. I'm not sure what's a different Gadol. I guess he could be a Gadol and not a chashuv person. Oh, because the story you'll see that it's a fascinating story. Okay, so this is Abana. Bako should be ma'ak is partners, if they want to be mak, but you can't. I can say, I don't want you to be in my side of Chatzah, I don't want you to do your things. When the women go ahead and do the laundry, you cannot stop them from doing the Chatzah. Why? Because when you go to the lake or to the river, they have to, according to Rashbam, they have to lift their dress, it's not sneers, and you're putting them in an invidious position. So nobody, this is like a takana that Chachamim made, that or something Yeshua, that if you have a chatzah, you have to allow people in the chatzah to do their thing. It doesn't mean the partner's allowed to stand and stare, but that he has to allow. Interesting, Beit Gesher says the problem is she's going to roll up her sleeves, nothing to do with her dress. She's going to roll her sleeves a little bit, and that is also a problem of sleeves. None of the other Shem say that. So for him, rolling up sleeves is like considered a big thing of what do you call it? Revealing their arms. Okay. Sorry? Yeah. I'm saying nobody else raised Megalas or saying. Okay. What do you mean? Why the other Hashem say they weren't worried about it? I don't know. I'm saying nobody else. Everyone else talks about this, the raising the dress or the whatever cloak. Only he raises the roisa. Anyway, now we're talking about sneas. The Gemara goes further. I think you'll understand why some people cross the street or something when they see women coming as follows. Close your eyes from seeing in evil. What do you mean close your eyes from seeing bira, seeing something bad? You shouldn't look at women. That's fascinating. We don't have an Rashi, so we can't say. But Rashi throughout Shas, everywhere in Shas, Eilim, Brachas, whenever the Gemara talks about you shouldn't look at a woman, if you look at a finger of a woman, it's like you're seeing, Makamera. You shouldn't listen to the voice of a woman. Rashi always adds, Eishes. Always. The other Shem don't. Makes no difference. She's a single girl, or she's a married woman. It's not sneeze. Rashi always adds Eishes. We don't have Rashi here, so we don't know what Rashi would say here. But so Amr Rabbi. So the idea is you shouldn't stare at women while they're laundering. So again, it's only talking about while they're laundering. It's not talking about walking down the street and seeing a woman. What are we talking about here? If they're talking about there's another way that you can go, you don't even have to go this route along the riverbank. You can go another way. Then Rashu, it's worse than just somebody who closes their eyes and is a chas, is a good thing. The guy's a Rasha. You deliberately went there and put yourself in that situation to see things which are not sneeze. Like the pasuk is complimenting someone who does all these things, close their ears, close their eyes. What do you mean complimenting? If this guy could have gone another way and didn't, and you compliment him closing his eyes, he shouldn't have gone in the first place. He's a Russian. No, boss. We're learning more Menach is very interesting about these Amoraim. They had a job of selling ladies' shoes, and and they used to go to Butter Zainis to sell them the fancy shoes. They want to know how they were able to do that. Talk about it, get there. Then about it further. And if there is no other way, no, that's the only you have no brega, then anasu. Then why sort of it seems to me, but if you have to close your eye. What do you want? Why should you close his eye? What should he do? He has to walk. He has to see where he's going. So there's no other way of going. Even so, closing your eyes, you can put yourself in sakana. You can't really see where you're going. You should. Others say it means you should not close your eyes. It means you just turn your head away to the other side, as if you close your eyes because you're not seeing what's going on. But again, this is talking about a noshim that are in a situation where they're not sneers, so you should not be there. I'm walking by women and say anyway that you have to you shouldn't be mistakel. You shouldn't be leering. Anyway, so the Gemara now continues. So we're talking about Rabbanah, and he's talking about sneers. So we're going to go from a segue into other things Rabbanah said. Rabbi Yechon asked Rabbanah a question. So obviously, if Rabbi Yechon is asking Rabbanah a question, then you can imagine what Rabbanah was. If you're having more Shabbos, that Talmid Chacham has to dress immaculately. What should the clothes of the Talmid Chacham be like? Kol she'ein psarei nida mitachtov. You shouldn't be able to see part of his flesh. And Rashbam says it means they shouldn't go. They go barefoot. They should be able to see the bottom down to the down to the heel and the bottom of the ankle, which is difficult because the Chachamim are not supposed to walk yachat. The Chachamim don't walk baris. They walk with shoes. So the others have a problem with the pshat and the Rashbam. But the Rambam learns, and maybe that's why the Rambam learns. The Rambam learns it means not the length of the clothes they wear. It means how thin, sheer. It shouldn't be sheer, transparent. It should be thicker. It should be shouldn't see his flesh at all. What about the outer garment that the cloak that the Talmid Chacham wore? That you cannot see. The coat goes all the way down. You don't the whole of the shirt underneath also was very long. The tunic was very, very long, and this should be even longer. Shulchan should Talmid Chacham kesav. A Talmid Chacham should be nikah not only by malbush, what he wears, but also the way they eat, the way they behave. So, what about a table? Shnei shisha gedil v'shlish galoi. So this is a Ram learns 2/3 of the table they did not put the food on it. It's the tablecloth. They had a tablecloth there. It seems that in those days they used to use a tablecloth also as a napkin, as a serviette. They would wipe their hands on the tablecloth. So the tablecloth had to be more or less clean. The food, the olive kaidas, the tabat, and the food was in the shlish. A third of the table to put the food, because what happens to the food is it'll be messy, spills and everything else. So that should not be on the tablecloth. That should be on the table itself. And 2/3 of the table is covered with the tablecloth, and they use that to wipe their hands and so on. And the tabas lebechutz. Now remember, in those we had our ripsachim. Those days the tables were like trays. It wasn't a proper table, so they would hang it up. You bring it to you bring the whole tray laden with food and take it back. So they would hang it up on a hook. So there's a ring on the table. That ring should be bechutz. Shouldn't be where the people are sitting facing them, but should be outside of the table. So another B'nai said that ring was actually the inner side of the table, like kasha. If there's a kid there, then the ring should be on the outside of the table. Why? Because the kids like to play with rings and they're going to shake the whole table and the food will go spilling everywhere. But if there's no child there, then have the ring outside so it doesn't bother the people sitting inside. It seems that we're still talking about Talmud Chacham. I'm not sure why this part has to do with Talmud Chacham. We're talking about where there's no child. No. So why one place of the ring inside out? Like kasha. If there's a gabbai, then have it inside because the gabbai can rub against the ring and hurt himself. He's walking back and forth. There's no gabbai, then there's no sham, there's no buckler, then have the ring on the outside of the table. There is a buckler. Well, like kasha. Hobby mama by day, then you could be on the outside because the butler can see the ring. So it's better on the outside. Habalila at night when the butler can't see the ring, then it's even though the people sitting inside and whatever, it's more important that the butler's safety, so you should not have the ring poking out. Vishalam Aris, what does the Amaris table look like? Like a flame. What do you mean like a flame? Everything is hot. They bring all the food, most of the table is full of food. The kedatas, makifas, oisa, the pots all around it. In other words, they eat a lot of food versus Talmid Chacham have a little bit of food. They only have a third of the table with food, and these guys have the whole table. What about the bed of a Talmid Chacham? How's different than a Amoritz? If all you had underneath it was sandals, so they used to wear sandals, very thick leather in the winter because of mud and everything else. So that's what they used. And in the summer, they wore shoes. So during the summer, the sandals they put under the bed. And during the winter, they put the shoes under the bed because they only wore the shoes in the summer. Now, what's the big deal? The kvetch is not to have the shoes under the bed. Even though more Shabbos we talk about that, they shouldn't sleep with the shoes on. But the kvetch is that they didn't have anything else. As the Rashbam says, they didn't put food under their bed. Because we had in the Arab Sachin that if you have food underneath your bed, there's a ruach chatumah there. As the Mefoshim there explain, because when a person sleeps, echad mishishim of misa, so it's like in an oil hameis, and in an oil hameis there's the ruach hatumah that's your wash negavasa. So it lays on the food. So you shouldn't have any food. In fact, the Rambam says you shouldn't have anything under a bed except shoes. Sorry. Okay. But it was full. Means a mix of everything. Everything they use it as a warehouse. Everything under the bed was they kept it. And it seems that, but interesting. It seems to me that's not only food. If you're looking at Ashbam, he says that by Tamina Chamim. So I'm sorry, the Amaris he says Kol Menichadam he does Oichlin Vekalim, as if to say by a Talmid Chacham, not only you don't put food under your bed, you don't put kalim under your bed either. In fact, there's a whole shaila I remember seeing in the Chubas about if somebody puts his esrig under the bed, can you be yotzer with it? Is it to Eva? And you shouldn't be able to use it. There's come an Isra on the thing itself. You shouldn't be able to use it. Okay, well,